Hi, so I'm gonna tell you how I got into film school and everything that I did. So I've divided this video into certain parts, a little bit about myself, why I chose film school, the places that I got into, the scholarships that I got, then the creative part, which are your essays, the most important thing, and the portfolio, and then my stats, and then some questions that my friends had, which I've answered. So I really hope this helps you, and I hope you enjoy the video. Why film school? Well, honestly, my entire life revolves around TV shows and movies. I'm not even kidding. I've probably binged more than 300 to 400 shows and movies. I know that's a lot. That's a huge number, but it's true. And I got into making videos and video editing and then blogging and stuff like that about movies in ninth or 10th grade, and since then I knew that it's something that I really enjoy. I knew that I wanted to do this in the future in a much bigger way, or if that's possible. Yeah, it is. So that's the reason I chose film school. I knew that it's something that is really important to me. It's something that's gonna make me really happy and something that I'm gonna thrive in. So I applied to around 10 to 12 colleges in total, both public and private, but I completely relied on public schools because private schools like NYU, USC, the big names, they're really expensive, crazy high tuition costs, and I really wouldn't be able to go there even if I got in. So I didn't apply to USC and Chapman, the big film schools you've probably heard of. So I got into UC Irvine, UC Davis, Pratt Institute, University of Arizona, Cardiff University, Coventry University, and the University of York. So I got into a bunch of public Ivies and Russell Grove universities, which are highly considered because most of them come under the QS 150, QS 200, which was my main priority. I really looked at rankings because I don't know, I wanted to go to a highly ranked college. So from the 7 colleges that I got into, I got a scholarship from Pratt Institute, and I got a total scholarship of $24,000 from this college, which covered half my costs. And I got a scholarship from UC Irvine, UC Davis, and Cardiff University. I decided that I want to do media studies at Cardiff University. I actually chose Pratt because of the high amount of scholarship that I got, but honestly, the fact that it's in New York City, I don't think I'm ready for New York City at 18, and New York is my dream place, but I want to go there when I'm 20. My parents definitely wanted me to go to Pratt, but I thought Cardiff would be the best college for me right now. Being a Russell Group University, it would definitely help me in the future by a lot of ways. So that's why I decided I'm gonna do media studies at Cardiff University. So now I'm gonna talk about the creative process and the different kinds of schools that you need to look into and how you need to choose what's right for you. So what I did was I chose 20 schools from around the world which I was interested in based on the rankings and how good their film program was, and I chose 10 to 12 schools based on different factors like location and cost and the weather and different things like that, and I applied to these 10 to 12 schools. And even in these 10 to 12 schools, I divided them as my top choices and my safety schools. I got into 3 of my top choices and I got into some of my safety schools as well. Although I got rejected by my dream school, UCLA, I did get into UCI, which was my second top choice, which I'm incredibly happy about. So just like what I did, it's really important for you to list down how many other schools that you're interested in. It could be 15 or 10 or even 5 or 20, 25, 30, whatever, and then choose how many schools you want to apply to based on different factors that you're looking at. It could be the cost again, because university is expensive, and it could be the strength of the school, or it could be the rankings, or it could be how good the faculty is, and different things like that. You need to choose what's perfect for you, where you would like, what you think would be a great school, what you think would be a great place for you, and divide them as top choices and your safety schools. So you need to definitely work a lot on top choice, but you definitely need to have your safety schools in case you don't get into your top choices. Because from what I've seen, top choices are schools which have a really low acceptance rate, from 10 to 20 or even lower than that if you consider Ivy Leagues. The top choices that I got into have an acceptance rate between 20 to 25%, and my safety schools have an acceptance rate between 40 to 50%, which was really ideal for me. So you really need to look into a lot of different aspects like this. So make a list of pros and cons and write down why you like this particular school or course. Write down why you dislike this place, and then it's gonna help you pick the perfect choice for you, perfect school for you. So I really suggest you make a list of pros and cons, and then you decide which school you want to go to, because that's super important. And I also made a list of pros and cons between Pratt and Cardiff, and I decided that Cardiff would be a perfect fit for me because of a list like this, and it helped me so much, and it also helped me in the application process as well. So now I'm going to talk about the essay part, which is crazy important. It's actually the most important thing in your application, and it's something that you need to prioritize more than anything else. Because trust me, your essay can completely reject you, or it can get you in a college just by that. So you need to put a lot of time in your essay, you need to put a lot of thought into it, and you need to make sure that a part of you is seen. You need to make sure that you can show how creative you are, how skilled you are, how talented you are, or why you belong in that college, how you would make a difference in society, or how good your leadership skills are, because that's what they look at. More than your grades or stats or your SAT score, they look at these words, they look at your essay, and that's how they choose that they want you. Because I know students who have pretty low stats, but because of how good their essays are, they've gotten into really high schools. So make sure that you work on your essay for a long time. It could be 2 months or 3 months, and you can definitely get yourself someone who can help you with these essays as well. There are a lot of companies, organizations, editors online which can help you with your essays. So I suggest you do that if you're not confident with it. So the Common App essay, which is a 650 word essay which you need to focus a lot on. This is your most important essay if you're applying through the Common App, because this is how colleges are gonna see you. Your Common App essay can determine if you're gonna get in the college or if you're gonna get rejected. Of course, there are your grades, your extracurriculars, other stats like that, but your essay is how they see the potential in you and how they see that you're a good candidate for their college. So make sure that your Common App essay is really good. Make sure that you're showing who you are, you're showing how good you are and why you belong in their school, how you would make a difference in society, how you would help them in a way. So you need to reflect all of this in your Common App essay. And you can copy paste the same thing for your UCAS personal statement. UCAS is basically the application process if you want to apply to the UK, and if you want to apply to the UK, I'm sure you already know that you need to write a personal statement as well. So once you're good with your Common App, once you're done with that, you could honestly reuse this everywhere. That's what I did. I reused my Common App essay in my UCAS personal statement, because that saved me a lot of time. And I worked on my Common App essay for around 2 to 3 months, from around August to October, which is a pretty long time, which you also need to do for sure. And just because I worked so much on this, I put a lot of thought into it and a lot of creativity into it. I didn't have to write another essay for my UCAS personal statement. I just copy pasted it, made a little changes like why I want to study in the name of the college, stuff like that. So once you're perfect with one essay, you can reuse that everywhere. You can make changes and copy paste that in most of your applications. So work on that one Common App essay and it's gonna help you quite a lot. So about the University of California system, or the UC system, where I applied to UCLA, UCI and UC Davis, you can't apply through the Common App. They have their own system where you need to apply, and they don't take the Common App essay. So here is when you need to write 4 small essays for the UC system. So don't worry, the essays aren't 650 words. They're pretty small. They're like 300 or 350 words. But the thing about UC system is your essays are literally the highest priority, because they literally focus so much on your essay, and your application is mainly determined by literally your essays. So make sure that these are extremely solid. They give you 8 questions you need to choose from, and these 8 questions are about your creativity, or about the leadership skills that you have, or about anything that you've done to help your society or a friend. And they're random 8 questions which you need to pick out 4 from, and you need to answer these 4 questions really well. So I chose questions about leadership because colleges look at your leadership skills so much. They look at how you can make a difference in their college. They can see how you can lead a group of people to make the world a better place. They look at things like that. So that's the reason I picked out leadership as one of my questions and answered them. And this is what you can do too. To have a solid application, pick out leadership if that's something that you like to do. It's something that you've done. Write a solid essay about that. It's gonna help you more than you know. It's gonna help you a lot. So these 4 essays, these small 4 essays, are really important in the UC system, and you can write anything. You can write anything. It could be you winning a gaming competition. It could be you winning some coding thing, or about basketball, or you helping out a friend, or working in an NGO. You can write anything, but make sure that a part of you is seen. A part of who you are is represented in these essays, and that's what they look at. So anything that you write about, they need to be extremely solid. They need to know that you've grown as a person, how much you've grown as a person, and how you're a good fit for their college. That's something they look at, and they choose you based on that. So make sure that in these 4 essays, you show a part of who you are, how good you are at something, how you can make a difference in their school, and that's more than enough. So now I'm going to talk about portfolios, which are very important if you're someone who wants to go into the creative field. So if you want to apply to an art and design college in particular, like RISD, Pratt, UAL, blah blah blah, you need to submit a portfolio, which is as important as your essays. So these portfolios, the thing about portfolios are, these colleges look at how you use your creativity and showcase a part of you. They look at how you use the talent and skill you have to tell a story, how you want to portray emotions or feelings or something deep. They honestly look more at what you're trying to tell more than talent and skill. I'm not gonna tell you that talent and skill doesn't play a part, of course it does, but more than that, they definitely look at what you want to tell them, what you convey, and how well you use that creativity to portray something that's very important to you. That's what they focus on the most. So based on that, that's how they assess you, that's how they consider you as a good applicant, based on how you're telling your stories, based on which medium you use. Whatever medium you use, it doesn't matter. You can use sketching, you can use painting, photography, videography, or you could even use like fashion design, graphic design, things like that. I used a bunch of all of these mediums. I used all of these mediums to portray what I wanna, to portray whatever that I did. I worked on every piece for around 2 to 3 weeks for sure. It took a lot of time, and using every piece, I was able to tell the viewers that I had a story in mind. I worked on it so much that I wanted to show them that it's not an ordinary piece. It's something that plays a really important part of my life. It's a huge part of my life, sorry, and it had a story. So that's what you need to do as well. You need to put a lot of thought into your portfolio, into every single piece. It might take a while, it can take month, it could take a year or anything. My portfolio took around 8 to 9 months easily, but it was definitely worth it. Because of my portfolio, I got a high amount of scholarship too from a private school, which is really hard to get. And this is why you need to focus a lot on your portfolio, because if you want to get into the creative field, it's as important as your essays. And when I said that you can write about anything, trust me, you can literally write about anything. One of my essays were about BTS, one of my favorite bands, and how one of the members inspired me to get into the film industry. So you could write about something that inspires you, something that drives you to do something. And you can also make your piece about literally anything. Don't worry, you can choose any topic you want, but you just need to show who you are. You need to make sure that it's solid no matter what it is, and you're telling a good story by whatever you've written or whatever piece that you've made. So now about my stats, which are my grades, test scores and extracurricular activities. Well, I study in the 12th grade Indian system, the CBSE. So we have the 10th grade and the 12th grade board, which we need to submit. But I'm sure that you already know that the US considers all 4 years of high school, which are 9th grade to 12th grade. So you will have to submit all of your grades that you've got in these 4 years. But the percentage that I got in my 12th midterm, which I submitted, was a 92, which is a 4 GPA. And my 10th grade board result was an 84, which I think is somewhere between 3.4 to 3.6 GPA, I'm not sure. But my 10th grade is not that high if you compare it to other kids who applied to the same colleges, because most of them have an average of 3.8, which is really good. But the fact that I had really good essays, I had great essays because I worked on it for ages and I had an editor as well. I think those compensated it for my 10th grade GPA, my 10th grade percentage. So your essays are crazy important, like how I said. So these are my grades. And my test score, I took the SAT, but I didn't submit my test score. I am so lucky, I'm so grateful that I didn't have to submit my SATs, because they were the worst part of my life. I hated studying it, I hated every part of my SAT. But if you're smart, good for you, the SATs will be easy for you, but for me it was not easy and I hated it. So now my extracurricular activities, I had a bunch of activities like playing the piano, teaching the piano, then winning some competitions, then playing a sport in my school. I'm gonna list down the activities that I did over here so that you can take a look. So in some of my activities which I listed here, some of them were about blogging, making videos, then making different content and stuff like that for brands, like how I said, brand affiliating. I'm sure that all of these helped me in my film application, in my film supplemental applications, because all of these are very related to the film industry. So if you have activities that are related to your major, something that is very close to your major, it's gonna help you so much. You can definitely list that down. So there are certain questions my friends asked, and I'm gonna answer them in case they help you too. How did you build your portfolio and sell yourself as a student? Well, my portfolio was a really long process. It took me around 8 to 9 months to make it, and I'm not really that great at art, and compared to other students, it's pretty average if you look at the skills if you look at my portfolio. But I made sure that I told a story using my pieces, and every piece had a particular story as my description, which told the university who I am and how my creativity is. So I think that was one reason my application stood out, because of how I was able to depict different stories and about myself through my portfolio. So the next question is experience with filming and the industry. Honestly, I don't have much experience in the film industry in particular, but since 4 years now I've been making videos, and I also have a YouTube channel, and I have a blog where I review movies sometimes, and I write my favorite scenes, and I upload photography and different videos I've edited. So I added this on my resume, and I think that helped me on my application because of my experience in video editing. And I also had to create content for several brands that I affiliated with, so I added this on my extracurriculars, which definitely helped me. So the next one is, what NGOs did you work with? How did you figure out that you wanted to go to film school? Well, like I said, I worked for one NGO, and I mentioned that in my extracurriculars. It was an animal shelter that I did in 9th or 10th grade, I don't remember. And I figured out that I wanted to go to film school, I think the beginning of 2020, when the entire pandemic started. I did have 3 to 4 options open. I had economics, this, business, and something else in my mind. But I knew deep down that I wanted to get into the creative field. And I made up my mind last year when I just knew that this would be perfect for me, because I've been making videos since 4 to 5 years now, and it's something that I really enjoy, and it's something that I see myself doing in the future. The next one is, how was the creative writing essays process for you? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of hard because I've never written that many essays before. And writing essays, especially for colleges, it can take a lot of time. So most of my essays, my Common App essay, my UCAS personal statement, and my University of California essays, I think it took around 2 to 3 months to finish everything. And especially my Common App essay, I took 2 months to write that, because it's a really important essay, like I told you in the previous part of the video. So it took a lot of time and a lot of thought. So yeah, that was my creative process. How was your experience with preparing for SATs? It was horrible. I hated it. I hated the SAT so much, and I'm so lucky that I didn't have to submit my score. I'm honestly so happy that I didn't have to submit my score, because the SATs were probably the worst time of my life. And I'm sure people find SAT easy, but I didn't, and I did not like it at all. But if you're smart enough, I think it'll be okay for you. So the last one is, you're artistic, so what is the fuel to your artistic nature? What is some past trauma or natural artistic feelings? Well, I don't think my past trauma has anything to do with my artistic feelings. Since my childhood, I've been doing something creative in one way or the other. My mom is an artist. I probably got it from her too. I've always liked sketching and painting, but recently, I think in 7th or 8th grade, I got into photography, and then video editing and video making in the 9th and 10th grade. And then it just grew. It just went growing, and then I don't know, I just knew that it's something I wanted to do in the future. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that this helps you in the future, or even now if you're gonna apply this year or next year. And if you have any questions, you can definitely comment down, or you can DM me on Instagram. And if you're interested in seeing my portfolio, if you want to see some pieces, you can definitely message me on Insta, and I'd be happy to show you my pieces or even some of my essays if I can. Thank you.